Hello crafters, I'm Jan B and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. I shared this one on my blog the other day and I was asked by one of my crafty friends if I would show how I made it, and I'm always delighted to do that. This one I made today, done it all white, which is one of my favourite combinations, but today this was Merry Merlot and today I'm going to be using Tranquil Tide. Now the Merry Merlot and the Tranquil Tide comes in a pack of 3 colours in the Christmas catalogue, and the third colour is copper. Okay, so that makes it really nice selection for Christmas. I'm going to start off by telling you the card pieces that you're going to be needing, and they are: your card base is Whisper White Cardstock, measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored at 1/8 inches, which is 21 by 14.5 centimetres, scored and folded at 10.5 centimetres. And for the inside of the card, one piece of Tranquil Tide Cardstock, which measures 3 7/8 inches by 5.5 inches, which is 10 by 14 centimetres, and a piece of Whisper White Cardstock, which measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches, which is 9.7 by 13.7 centimetres. So that's on the inside. And then for the outside of the card, you need a piece of Tranquil Tide Glimmer Paper, which measures 3 7/8 inches by 5.5 inches, which is 10 by 14 centimetres, and a top layer of Whisper White Cardstock, which measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches, which is 9.7 by 13.7 centimetres. Now, if you don't want to use a sheet of glimmer paper as a layer, then you could use a piece of Tranquil Tide cardstock underneath, which is what I did on this one with the Merry Merlot. I didn't use glimmer paper there. Okay, I did on the inside. No, I mean cardstock on the inside as well. So the choice is yours. So that's those. And the Tranquil Tide, if you wanted that should be 3 7/8 inches by 5.5 inches, which is 10 by 14 centimetres. And then you need a piece of Whisper White Cardstock, which is 4 inches by 4 inches, which is 10.5 by 10.5 centimetres. And then for the actual bauble, this one, that should be measuring 2 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches, which is 7 by 7 centimetres. You need a scrap of Whisper White for the sentiment, just this little one here. And for the, now it depends how you want to decorate the inside of your card. If you want to decorate it like I did this one, you need a piece of glimmer paper that measures 1 3/4 inches by 2.5 inches, which is 4.5 by 6.5 centimetres. Or if you want to do what I did on this one, you need a piece of glimmer paper which measures 2.5 inches by 3 inches, which is 6.5 by 7.5 centimetres. And if you do the one for that, you will have another 3 baubles left over. My piece was a little bit short, so I've only got 2 left over, but I'll save those for another project. But that's because it's all on one die. Right, so the first thing we are going to do is the stamping, because there's only a tiny amount of stamping to be done. And the stamp is from Wishing You Well, and I'm using that little one there because I only wanted a very tiny sentiment like that, and this just fitted the bill brilliantly. If you've seen any projects or anything on other people's blogs and on Facebook, that is the absolutely stunning bow that stamps absolutely beautifully. So I need my scrap of Whisper White, this one, and I'm going to use Tranquil Tide ink. There we go. That is just so delicate. I love it. So that's going to be die cut. That's going to be die cut. That one I'm not going to be using. That's a die cut. And that's a die cut. Okay, so I'll get my big shot up. Right, and on this project I'm going to be using all three types of three of the different types of sandwiches that you can use. So I'm going to do this using the stitched shape Framelits, and I'm going to use the smallest oval, which I've put on one side there. So you'll see that fits absolutely brilliantly. Right, my die is jumping a bit there. And then this one I'm going to be using, I'm calling it a doily die, which is this one. I will also be needing that one, and if you're doing the little, the single bauble inside the card, that's the one that you need, or if you're going to do the little ones like me, that's the one that you're going to be needing. And that is from Detailed Baubles, which coordinates with the Beautiful Baubles stamp set. That's on in the Christmas catalogue, and it's available with a 10% discount if you buy the two at the same time. So first of all I'm going to put the big die down. As you can see, the die will only just fit on your piece of paper, but the cutting edge is actually on the inside here, so it's a bit further on than you might realise. So put the middle one in, and then just try and make sure that you've got the same sort of gap all the way round. From where I'm sitting, I have, maybe it could go over a tad. Oh, moved the top one that way, didn't I? But that's okay, I think that's alright. Don't fiddle. Right, okay. Just make sure that didn't move as well. Okay, so this one I'm using my magnetic platform for. And I am just going to bring this back through just to make sure that the whole of the doily gets cut through. Okay, so that's my sentiment. My doily. Yep, that looks like it's cut through properly. So I'm going to save the circle because that will be great for another project. That can go back over there. That's rubbish. And I'm going to leave that there. I'll clear that out in a moment. So there's that one done. Don't need that platform. The next platform I'm going to be using is our regular platform with one cutting mat, cutting plate, and that is because I am going to dry emboss my top white layer. And for this one I used the Swirls and Curls embossing folder, but I feel that that's a little bit busy with the pattern there and the pattern on there. So what I did on my white one, I used a very plain, I'm not sure you can even see that, can you? Oh yes you can, yeah. Okay, so that's the one that I'm going to be using now, and it is our dynamic subtle embossing folder, which means it's one of these really thick ones, and it also means that you should spray your sheet with water first. Now I think, yep, that's the one that goes inside, that's my one. Right, okay, so I'm going to spray it first. Obviously you're not going to be able to see me do this, and I have to tell you I'm a lousy shot with this, even though it's only like, I don't know, 18 inches away or something. I keep missing. So you heard that. I'm going to turn it over, do it again on the other side. Oh, brilliant. Oh, lovely. The reason they say to spray with water is because you get a much better impression with these dynamic folders. Ooh, picked up a bit of rubbish there. Well, that's alright, at least that's on the back. So this embossing folder is really good because you've got a black line there on the front, so it does help you line up to make sure you're, see, now I can see that that's not straight there, so I'm going to move that in a bit. That's better. So that's all going right up to the line. Now, so what I need is I'm going to put that with the fold going in front way, going in first. Not let that move. Okay. You see the design on that? Yes, lovely. So just pop that to one side for the time being. Finished with that. Now this, I need the other part of this platform, which is the thin die adapter. Okay, so big shot platform, thin die adapter, and then I'm going to use my precision base plate. And that is going to be for the bauble. And this one, in fact, I wonder if I can get them both on here. Yes. And can I turn them sideways? Yep, that's all right. Maybe not. But then you've got to anyway, haven't you? Excuse me while I talk to myself. I'm going to cut this in half, not those scissors, because I will be cutting, turning the dies around just to make sure that they do cut right the way through. Okay, there we go. That's the smallest one, isn't it? That's it. Yep, that'll do. So the first run through, I'll use this cutting. There's only one cutting plate with this sandwich. And I have to say this plate is really very, very warped. So I'm going to run it through once. And then I'm going to bring it through back number 2. Right, now that one normally falls out quite easily. This is the one that needs a little bit more encouragement. In fact, should I move that one out of the way? We don't really need it in there, do we? No, not at all. Okay, let's put that one back in. Okay, put it through and bring it up. Oops. There we go. Oh yes, that's good luck. Just falling out there. So I think that is all I need for the big shot. So move that out of the way. And I can move these out of the way as well. I don't need that. I don't need that. Right, let me get myself tidied up again. Right, so those can be saved. Now I'm going to use my brush, my die brush. I'll do the white one first. Okay, so most of that is out apart from 4 bits, so that's jolly good. Okay, nice clean cut that. Right, so put that in the bin. So I'll check that later to see if it needs to be cleaned or not. This I think is just going to pop out. Yep. I really like Tranquil Tide, and I also really like the shaded spruce. The two of them are really very, very similar. Now I've just got this one, haven't I? I was having a look around to see what I was missing. God, look at that. See, putting it through the 4 times, it's taken everything out. Oh no, maybe not those two. Okay, but I don't know, there's got little ones there as well. Right, before I say anything again, just double check. Yep, they're all out. Again, I'll check these when I'm tidying up. It's quite amazing, it's stayed almost in position, hasn't it? Right, so that's that finished with. So now I think we can put our card together. So I'm going to start on the inside. And I have already put my tape on the back. This is definitely my preferred method now of adhering my layers together. I haven't fallen out of love with Tombow. He's still the greatest. But for my layers I just prefer doing it like this. Yeah, I can't lean my head forward, so let's start from the back. Oh, got a pencil mark there. That's because I always measure my cardstock before I actually cut it. And I mark it with pencils. And it's one thing that I am amazingly lazy about. Going back to remove the pencil marks. Right, so remove, oops, move these bits. I've got a little tin bucket here that I used to use in my classes. And I thought I'd bring one of those up because when I was doing the trio of videos that I've just finished, the ones with the snowman tags, snowman cards and the snowman box, I finished up with so many of those bits on the table. Right, I'm going to do this upside down again. I think that's straight. Right, so now I am going to put this one on. And then the dry embossed sheet is going to be adhered on top of this using glue dots. Okay, I do know that a lot of people, when they use the glimmer paper for layers, they punch shapes out of them or die cut shapes out of them, but it is not something that I ever do. Oops, that's coming over the edge a bit. Let's curl that down. And I have seen more pencil marks. One there. One there. Was it inside? Nope. Nope, that's okay. Maybe it was on here. No, that looks good to me. Right, so I think, is it easier to do this off or on? I'm not quite sure. Let's put our little baubles on the inside. Do we want to use these? That's quite nice, isn't it? Can I get 5 on there? I think so. If I squeeze them all up tight together, that would look nice. I just use glue on this. My tweezers. And just positioning this on my grid paper to make sure it's halfway. This dark line is my halfway mark. So that's 2 inches, and one box 2 inches. Oh, it's less, so come back a bit. So that must be halfway. Whoops, don't knock it. There we go. Have a quick look, make sure it's straight. Yep, that's good. And then this one. Now I'm not going to leave much gap here at all. 2 ways of doing this, either lining it up so that everything is in a straight line along the bottom, or like I am, halfway between that. Whoops, it's a bit of a lot, big splodge of Tombow there. And let's put this one here, just leave a titchy gap. Okay, so there's a smaller one. So I have the small one there. No, it's coming off the edge, so forget that. I'm just going to have those. So those will go with the white ones and be used for another project. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do in there. Now, I will do this bit. First of all, I'm going to prepare my sentiment with some dimensionals. And I think I just used 2 large ones. And I do that just so that I can put it on here to give myself an idea where I want my doily to go. And I want that bit there, the little hoop, no, you still can't see it. Let's put it on there. Right, there you go. See that little bump there, the single bump, not the big bump, but that single bump I want right up at the top there. So I need to put dimensionals on here, and I am going to be using the small ones, and by all these single curvy bits, they will take 1 small dimensional. But because I'm not happy that they are giving the doily enough support, I do go and put half cut, or at least dimensionals that have been cut in half, in between but I'll show you what I mean with that. But once I've done it, it does mean that I'm really happy about the amount of support the doily has. It's not sinking in the middle or anything, which I think is always a shame with cards. You spend so much time making them and being careful of everything that you're doing. I think it's such a shame that it all falls down when it comes to dimensionals. They're not expensive. Right, so that one's cut in half and I'm putting it in the centre there. The other one is going into the next one. Now I have found if you cut these doilies from corner to corner, not doilies, the dimensionals from corner to corner, they do come out the right size, but do move your tweezers out of the way, otherwise you never cut through. There we go, that goes in there. There we go, that one. That one. Oh, missed one over that side. Right, one there. And then one there. Okay, so I'll take all my bits off. On the 10th of November we've got the Stamping Up on Stage convention up in Birmingham, and I have there'll be 8 of us from my team going. So because there was that many, we decided that we'd go a day early and have a crafting day together. So I've done one of my projects for that, still working on the second one. I have somebody else who's helping me as well, Moya, lady of my team. But I will show you, I will make a video of the project, the one that I've already done. The second one may be a video as well, so that I can share it with you. I can't say what it is, obviously, because I don't want to spoil the surprise for my team. There we go, I think that's all. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be my card front. I'm going to put my sentiment where I think I want it to go. And this, in fact, I'm going to do it upside down again. Imagine this is the top of my card. So I know the sides of the doily come more or less to the edge. And I want to leave a gap. How much of a gap do I want to use? It's only about 1/4 of an inch, isn't it? Possibly 3/8. So let's do it like this again. So I'm right in the centre of that dark line, and then make sure that both of those single curves, that one and that one, are lining up with that dark line. Okay, so then that's that. This is warped a bit because of the water on it, and there we go. In fact, that should have been a bit higher. I doubt if I can get that off now because I've squashed it down, haven't I? No, I'm going to leave that. So I would do it a bit higher than that. I did say 1/4 of an inch. I've come down 1/2 an inch, but never mind, as long as you do yours right. So let's put this one on now. There we go. Now, to affix this to here, first of all, what I do is I use some white baker's twine. Now, if you look closely at the card, you can actually see the baker's twine, but because it's white on white and the bow almost hides it, I really don't think it's an issue. Okay, so if you put that round twice, okay, rather than just once, if you do it once, then it can slide up and down, which you don't want. And then you put your baker's twine up here, and you see that hole there? You're going to put that underneath, and to get it through, I am just going to use my very pointed tweezers. Okay, so that comes through really easily. Now I'm going to do this one and pull that up, and that's going to come very easily. Now I'm going to tie this into a double knot, but again watching how much gap I've got down here. So I want about 1/4 inch. I wonder if I could stand Tombow on that to stop that from moving. Yes, you can still see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just going to tie this into a double knot. Without pulling it tight, otherwise I'm just going to be pulling the bauble up to the top, which is what I don't want. Right, now I can pull it tight. That's it. And I'm going to cut this off as short as I can. Right, you can go now. That's better. That's it. Now, what I do to stop this from, when it sliding straight under the gap there, is I curve it very slightly. Oh, this is a better one, I think. Okay, so I just take a pencil or something round and curl it very, very slightly. Okay, I'm not going to worry about flattening that down, so that I can at least show you what I mean. I mean, that will get flattened down as I'm working on it, so that's fine. So what I'm going to do now is adhere this to my card base. In fact, as I turn it over, it's going to get squashed a bit. But I will recurl it again when I need it to be. Okay, so now I'm going to put 12 glue dots. I'm going to do 3 across and 4 down, and then the 2 in the middle as well. These glue dots hold onto glimmer paper brilliantly. Tombow does as well, but I always feel that Tombow just needs to have a bit of a weight put on it until it can get a proper grip, because obviously it's just trying to cling on to, well, the equivalent of grit really, I suppose. It's not like it's a nice smooth surface. Okay, so 2 in the middle there. There we go. Now, right way and wrong way. So, which way shall I go first? He thinks that's good. There we go. Oh yes, look at that, it's lovely. Right, let's have some, oh no, we do the diamonds in a minute. Now the ribbon I'm using is actually called Shaded Spruce, but it goes in brilliantly. Let me just show you a piece of the card. Oops, what was that? Let me show you a bit of the cardstock. See, it's darker, but it's still what I call the same colour. Same colour, different shade. So what I'm going to do now is a bunny ears bow. And what I like about this ribbon is it does have a bit of a shine to it. I'm not sure, I don't know whether it's actually described in the catalogue as shiny, but it certainly looks it to me. I wish I could work with my ribbon still on the reel, but I can't. Right, there we go. Just keep putting the tails until it's tight enough and the size bow that you want. I think just one more, then I'd be happy. Yes, I'm happy. Just fluff it out a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere it there, so you'll be able to see the white above and below. But what I am going to try and do is that knot, I am going to try and manoeuvre it so that it goes back through the hole. So, right, it's got to go, let's do it sideways. So what I'm doing is I'm moving the baker's twine along a bit. Now, are you moving? No, you're not, are you? That's because last time I only wrapped it around once, which is how I found that it's better to have it wrapped twice. Okay, so it doesn't want to move, so plan B is I'm going to take a glue dot, make sure that I'm not going to restrict this, I'm going to pull the knot forward a little bit and put the glue dot over it, because that glue dot is also going to help to attach my bow. And then I'm going to put another glue dot on top of it, but lower down. What I'm making sure I'm not doing is I'm making sure that my glue dots are not coming down onto this bit of the bauble. In fact, it's almost like I'm wrapping the knot up in glue dots. So let's see what happens if I put this on top. What can you see? Well, you can see the white underneath, but it almost looks like it's part of a bow rather than an actual knot. Can you see that? I think you can, can't you? I hope so, anyway. But from, you know, where I'm sitting, it looks fine. In fact, I've probably done mine a little bit too low. I wonder if I can move that up a bit. Oh, that's better. I had stopped my bauble from moving. Okay, so don't bring your glue dots too low. Okay. Yes, that's good. Right, so now I just need my rhinestones. And again, these are going on the small bumps. That one looks smaller. I'm sure it is. And this is why I've made sure that the small curve goes near the top, because I couldn't do that on the red one, and it looks as if I've missed one out. Let me show you what I mean. You see, the bow is covering up that one, and there's not one there, so it looks as if I've missed it, but I haven't. Okay, so have I remembered everything today? I think so. That is today's project. I hope you like it. I hope you give it a try. That's Tranquil Tide, Merry Merlot and Sparkle Glimmer Paper. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And I forgot to tell you that this card was actually inspired by a lady in my team who was inspired to make it by a previous all-white card that I'd made. So I was inspired by a card that she made that was inspired by a card that I made. So there we go. I hope you like it. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the box below the video. I'm always very happy to help you. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, please click in the box below, click on the link for my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. Also in there, everything goes in the box below, will be the measurements and also all the products that I've used for this. If you've enjoyed my video and you would like to be notified each time I upload a new one, which is normally Wednesdays and Sundays, please click the subscribe button, and then you need to click the bell to say yes, you want the notifications. And finally, don't forget that I have a Facebook group where I've set it up so that we can all share projects. It doesn't have to necessarily be what you've made in respect of this, but anything that you make that you'd like to share, I would love to see it. The group is called Jambee's Happy Crafting. Again, there'll be a link in the box below that you can click on. I'd love to see you over there. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting.